Hi everybody, this is Mr. Turner coming to you with a tutorial on how to use the broadcast panel in our studio control room. I'm going to help you through this by using the standard techniques that we would use during one of our Mustang Minutes broadcasts. When you first sit down at the broadcast panel, you are going to notice that in the lower right hand corner there is a button that says FTB that's flashing in red. That stands for fade to black. Now we leave the panel on black whenever we aren't using it. So if somebody was to tune in to our live stream, they would just see a black screen with muted audio. But let's say we're ready to use the panel. First thing we want to do is to make sure that in the program role right over here that we select the input that we want to be displaying on program as soon as we come out of black. In this case, it's going to be the opening bumper for Mustang Minutes, which is queued up on deck 1. So I'm going to draw a line straight below that to our program row, and I'm going to push the deck 1 button, which will then turn red, letting me know that that's queued up and ready to be displayed on our program feed as soon as we lift the black. Also, we can go ahead and we can set up our preview shot as well. So we can do the same thing that we did on the program row to set up our preview shot. The preview shot is the shot that we are going to take live as soon as we're done displaying the program shot. So in this case, we actually have two things that we need to select on the preview shot. We have a key, which is camera 1 shot, tied with the key 1 button right here. And then we need to select the background or the fill that we want to go with that. The fill that we want to select is Media Player 1. That's our wide shot background. So it's already done here, but let me demonstrate how to do that anyway. What we'll do is we'll push the background button, and we'll go ahead and see on our multi-view where the background that we're looking to display is located. In this case, it's on Media Player 1. So what I'll do is I'll hold down, because I don't see Media Player 1 listed here, I'll hold down the Shift button to see additional options. And there we go, I see MP1 for Media Player 1. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to push that button on the preview row. Now we have the background showing on our preview monitor, but we don't have the key that we want to lay on top of it. So what we'll do is we'll come up here again right above the transition control, and simultaneously we'll push the background button and the key shot number that we want to tie that with. Now we have 4 different key buttons, but we only use the first 3. Key 1 is tied into camera 1, key 2 is tied into camera 2, and key 3 is tied into camera 3. So in this case I want to add a background to key 1 or camera shot 1. So all I'll do is I'll take 2 fingers and I'll push those 2 buttons simultaneously, and voila, we now have a key on top of our background fill. So now that those 2 shots are set up, we can now work our way left to right across the broadcast panel to our transition control. And on our transition control, we can select from a number of different transitions. We can do the default mix, which is a cross dissolve. We can do a wipe. We can cut. We can also change these and do more of a custom transition on the software version of this broadcast panel that's available on our main studio or main control room PC. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and leave it at mix and do a cross dissolve. The transition rate can also be changed on that computer, but by default it's 1 second. That sounds good to me, so we'll leave it there. And then we have 2 choices on how we want to do the transition. Typically, you're just going to push this button right here that says Auto. And what it'll do is it will automatically transition from your program shot to the preview shot using a cross dissolve with the transition rate of 1 second. So if we push that button, let me lift the fade to black before we do that. That way we can see what's on our program monitor. We'll push the Auto button, and boom, we can now transition to our heart's content back and forth between our program and our preview monitors. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because at one point in time in our broadcast, we are going to have the program monitor as a keyed shot, and we are going to want to set up another keyed shot on the preview monitor. Easy to do, but it takes some thinking and takes some practice. So with our keyed wide shot on the program monitor, let's go ahead and in our preview row on the preview monitor, let's go ahead and set up our camera 2 shot. To do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to select our background just like we did with the program shot. Remember that when a key is on air, anytime you use these controls, it's only going to affect what's on the preview shot, not what's on air. What's on air is locked, so you don't have to worry about it messing up the key that you have currently on the program feed. So let's go ahead and select our background for that. So if we look at our multi-view, we see that deck 2 is the deck that we are going to want to use as our background or our fill for our camera 2 shot. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to push background, and we are going to go ahead and select the background that we want, which is going to be deck 2. As you can see, I can find deck 2 on our source name row right here. I don't have to click shift because it's already on there. If I couldn't find it here, if I wanted to see additional options, I would hit shift and hold it down. But we're going to go ahead and just select deck 2. So we've added deck 2 as the background shot, but we still have key 1 as the camera shot on there. So instead of us holding down background and then pushing key 2 for camera 2, we've got to do something a little bit different. We've actually got to turn the key 1 off on preview and turn the key 2 on. The way that we're going to do that is we're actually going to take 3 fingers and we are going to push background, key 1, which is the current key, and key 2, which is the key that we desire to be on the preview shot, simultaneously. So push those all together, and there you go. It goes ahead, it takes off that key 1 for camera 1, and it adds in key 2. So we have the appropriate background with the appropriate key, being camera 2. Now we can just push the auto button to transition between those 2 keys. The other thing you're going to want to know on the live production switcher is this area right here to the right of transition control. This is the other type of keyer that we can do on the broadcast panel or live switcher, and this is called downstream keyers. And what downstream keyers allow us to do is they allow us to use the character generator to overlay graphics on our program feed. So as long as this light is on that says DSK1, we now have the ability to go in and we can display the title that we want to on that screen. So I hope this video has been helpful in helping you understand exactly how to set up the program and preview shots that you'd like, key in any backgrounds that you might like with each of those shots, and then transition back and forth between those 2. Of course, when we finish with the broadcast panel at any time, the last thing we should always do is push the fade to black button. This will go ahead and fade us out to a black screen and also mute our audio for anybody that might tune in to a live stream that we have. As always, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask me. I look forward to seeing what you're able to accomplish this year using our live production broadcast panel.